Introduction to Nursery Rhymes.
Black sheep, have you any wool?
Yes sir, 3 bags full. One for my master, one for my dame, and one for the little boy who lives down the lane.
Nursery rhymes are short, sung verses. Generally, these verses are anonymous, centuries old, and originated as part of a long oral tradition. Encyclopedia Britannica. The existence of numerous European parallels for the rhymes suggests the possibility that these rhymes come down from very ancient sources, since their direct translation is unlikely. Apparently, most were originally composed for adult entertainment. They were once called Mother Goose rhymes because they were told by women who were symbolically mother geese. See our video, Symbolism of the Goose. Nursery rhyme publication, on the other hand, coincided with the rise of literacy and improvement in printing processes, with significant publication beginning in the 1700s and blossoming in the 1800s. It should be remembered that Gutenberg printing press was only invented around the mid-1400s, and printing initially was devoted to religious texts. Caxton set up his printing press in London towards the end of the 1400s. Even by 1700, books were expensive, even when printed. Encyclopedia Britannica. The earliest known published collection of nursery rhymes was Tommy Thumb's Pretty Songbook, 2 volumes, London, 1744. It included Little Tom Tucker, Sing a Song of Sixpence, and Who Killed Cock Robin. The most influential was Mother Goose's Melody, or Sonnets for the Cradle, published in 1781. Among its 51 rhymes were Jack and Jill, Ding Dong Bell, and Hushabye Baby, On the Treetop. It should be noted that all these are full of symbolism. As such, they lasted because they were important, memorable rhymes. Notice the crude drawings and lack of colour, even by 1781. And as Encyclopedia Britannica says, many nursery rhymes have variants in other languages, with similar rhymes appearing in different nations, meaning they are a good deal more than verses for a child's amusement. Encyclopedia Britannica. Folklorists have also identified, embedded among the nonsense words, relics of ancient charms, Latin liturgy, or secret passwords of the Freemasons. So we might better say that these easily remembered rhymed sung verses belonged to an ancient occult folklore tradition shared by adults and children, and that in them we find songs made memorable for a largely rural community who could neither read or write. Some with no fixed abode because they were hunter-gatherers, and others who were servants, but found sung verse easy to remember, but not a nursery in sight. The Sufi influence. Idris Shah. The Sufis. The Sufis have produced great theologians, poets and scientists. They accepted atomic theory and formulated a science of evolution over 600 years before Darwin. Let us add a few more facts. The coffee which we drink was traditionally first used by Sufis. We wear their clothes, shirt, belt, trousers. We listen to their music, Andalusian, measured music, love songs. dance their dances, waltz, Morris dancing, read their stories, Dante, Robinson Crusoe, Chaucer, William Tell, employ their esoteric phrases, moment of truth, human spirit, ideal man, and play their games. And we also sing their songs. Sufism predates Islam and many other religions, and it is clear that a great number of nursery rhymes and stories came from the Sufis. Henriette Willebecq Lemaire was a Dutch illustrator of children's books. In 1920, Lemaire married H.P. Baron von Toyle van Sarusk-Kerkenand. Both were followers of the Sufism of Hazrat Inayat Khan, who is on our website, allaboutheaven.org. The French illustrator Louis Maurice Boutet de Monvel was an important influence on Lemaire's artistic development. Louis was a French painter and illustrator, best known for his watercolours for children's books. 3 trips to Algeria, 1876, 1878, 1880, had a strong influence on Louis' style. Sufism was considered an essential part of Islam in Algeria at the time. Although Sufism was fought and oppressed by the Salafists, the Salafiyya movement emerged in the Ottoman Empire during the late 19th century. Louis and his protégé, Henriette, were influenced by Sufism. The effect of the Industrial Revolution. Overall, illustrators with strong occult interests were often attracted to books, myths and rhymes whose origins were also very clearly mystic or spiritual in nature. For example, Walter Crane, 15th of August 1845 to the 14th of March 1915, or Arthur Rackham, 19th of September 1867 to the 6th of September 1939, were both attracted to occult writing, as was Eleanor Fortescue Brickdown, the 25th of January 1872 to the 10th of March 1945. And the innovations in printing and engraving techniques in their time meant that publications could be created faster and reach more people than ever before. The Industrial Revolution also created a larger, wealthier middle class, meaning that more people than ever before could purchase books, not only for themselves, but for their children. Before the Industrial Revolution, children were just participating members of the household, assisting with daily chores which were commonly labour-intensive. With the exception of children of nobility, there was no time for childhood, because the day-to-day activities were often necessary to stay alive. So we must treat the appearance of so-called nursery rhymes in books as a very helpful event in the life of these stories, but never forget that the rhymes existed as a verbal folklore tradition worldwide, and they were shared by adults and children. The odd effect of recording the rhymes. The current collections of nursery rhymes is not the clean list of symbolic rhymes it once was. People would collect rhymes into compendiums and include all sorts of rhymed songs, many of which had no mystic meaning. Riddles, proverbs, ballads, lines of mummers' plays, drinking songs, and songs about historical events. Some of the currently recognised traditional English rhymes are not even vaguely mystic, but instead of saying, well, some are and some are clearly not, researchers have tended to take an all or nothing view. Encyclopedia Britannica. John Bellenden Kerr, 1765 to 1842, for example, wrote 4 volumes arguing that English nursery rhymes were actually written in Low Saxon, a hypothetical early form of Dutch. He then translated them back into English, revealing in particular a strong tendency to anti-clericalism. And Encyclopedia Britannica. Catherine Eloise's book, The Real Personages of Mother Goose, 1930, linked famous nursery rhyme characters with real people on little or no evidence. She posited that children's songs were a peculiar form of coded historical narrative, propaganda, or covert protest. This has been further exacerbated by those ignoring the historical nature of the rhymes and the links some of them have with mystic symbolism, but keen to protect children from all the violence they think is evident in them. The formation of organisations like the British Society for Nursery Rhyme Reform have inflicted yet further blows to the integrity of the rhyme and its meaning by sanitising them until their mystic meaning is entirely lost. In some cases, this descent into mindless political correctness has been ridiculed by light-hearted books, such as Felix Dennis's When Jack Sued Jill, Nursery Rhymes for Modern Times, 2006, or satires. But it is the loss of the originals and their meaning which is perhaps the most tragic. Some example rhymes and the playlist. We have an entry on our website for some of the more classical nursery rhymes, but in order to demonstrate, we have selected a few and given a link to the video that explains them. Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Wells, water, crowns and hills are all symbols described in the symbolism of the well and the story of Jack and Jill. Ring-a-ring-a-roses. Ring-a-ring-a-roses, a pocket full of posies. Ashu, ashu, we all fall down. Even Wikipedia recognises that the explanation of the plague is wrong, but the change of words from ashu to ashu is key, as ash had great symbolic meaning at one time, and rings of posies can have other meanings. See our video, The Symbolism of Ash and All 50 Shades of Grey. Baba Black Sheep. Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes, sir, yes, sir. 3 bags full. 1 for the master, 1 for the dame, and 1 for the little boy who lives down the lane. Wool is symbolically spiritual energy. As such, any poem about sheep and wool is bound to be spiritual. For more details, see the video, The Symbolism of Sheep and Wool. Master, dame, and little boy refer to mother, father, and son symbolism. Please see the video. Goosey, goosey, gander. Goosey, goosey, gander. Whither shall I wander? Upstairs and downstairs, and in my lady's chamber. There I met an old man who would not say his prayers. I took him by the left leg and threw him down the stairs. Ascension by stairs, ladders and ropes was once spiritually well understood. We have 2 videos on ascension, but the entire symbolism of the goose and her role can be found in the video, The Symbolism of the Goose. Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Humpty Dumpty is a cosmic egg, and a wall is part of the symbolic landscape of heaven. Kings and horses are also symbolic. We have a horse video, for example. But the key symbol is the cosmic egg. See the video, The Symbolism of the Cosmic Egg. Lavender's blue, dilly dilly. Lavender's blue, dilly dilly. Lavender's green. When you are king, dilly dilly, I shall be queen. Despite the view some scholars have that this has no meaning, the very use of kings and queens links this rhyme to the spiritual path, and green and blue also have symbolic meaning. See the video, The Symbolism of Green, and the green lion consumes the sun. General clues about other rhymes. Rhymes such as Mary, Mary, quite contrary covers a wealth of symbols. Gardens, the symbolism of gardens, bells, shells, contrariness, meaning contrast, and so on. Our website has their meaning. The rhyme cock-a-doodle-doo starts with the phrase, cock-a-doodle-doo, my dame has lost her shoe, linking it to the video, the symbolism of feet and shoes. The rhyme Hey Diddle Diddle contains reference to cats, fiddles, cows, the moon, a dog, and dishes and spoons, all of which are key symbols. Cows and moons are both feminine. See the symbolism of the moon. The rhyme Hickory Dickory Dock is about the spiritual path. See our video, An Introduction to the Spiritual Path. And there are more. Once you understand the context and the symbols, Hushabye Baby, for example, can be explained using the video, The Symbolism of the Tree of Life and Leaves. Little Bo Peep might be better categorized as a high priestess. See video, The Symbolism of Virgo Virgins and the High Priestess in the Tarot. And Little Miss Muffet, who met the giant spider, is part of the creation myths of many faiths, including that of India, and seen in the video, the order of creation of spirals, spiders and snails. Even Seesaw Marjorie Daw is referring to a metaphysical concept we describe in the video, the concept of contrast and the symbols of the coin, swing and pendulum. As such, many rhymes that have been rejected by current scholars may still have their origins in alchemy and magic, symbols and spells, potions and patterns. Let us hope they are not bowdlerized further and remain as traditional and unsanitized as they once were, to preserve the magic and mystery of the past for future generations.
You'll be